And Shawn, I'm pretty sure I don't know, the world is probably asking you, like, especially after the casting announcement for Avengers Doomsday,
Oh yeah.
and whether you've signed an NDA or not on whether you can talk about it.
So this is the weird part of it. It's like if I was, I couldn't say that I was, but I'm
Yeah.
not.
Nerd Reactor, roll out.
Okay, how's it going, guys?
Doing
Doing great.
great.
Good to meet
Oh,
you.
yeah, same here. So it feeds horror movie, this evil entity just feeding on just poor victims. And I want to talk about Cynthia, her powers to enter minds. And so I was wondering for each of you, if you had the power to do that personally, is there any particular person, whether it's historical, fictional, or real life, that you would like to visit?
Yeah, I know I would just go inside mine and fix all the stuff that's going on in there. Um, oh gosh, I don't know. I think with that's such a delicate thing to do. I don't know that I would on like all that stuff kind of the same thing like when I was doing Twilight and they're like, would you want to read or see the future? I'm like, oof, no, I think there's like something about being in this moment now that I enjoy and being able to do those things freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think the idea of maybe entering someone's head to, but
I guess my kids, if like I needed to fix them, sure.
yeah, but I think I'd rather just have a conversation with an interesting person than enter their mind because then it's sort of like it's not a two-way street. It's like you're like worming your way into someone's head to then peek around, and I would much rather have like a conversation and an open kind of like dialogue with somebody that I respected or was interested about, as opposed to just like worming my way into their head. I think of like being John Malkovich when when you say like that, and it's like you're not even participating; you're just viewing somebody's experience, which seems a little creepy. So yeah, I think I'd
Yeah,
just stay in me and have a conversation.
All right,
for
say
sure.
no to too much power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just like everyone's like, you present a certain way, but when you're in someone's head, like we have so many thoughts firing all the time and we're always passing judgment, whether they're good or bad. And so like you have to weave. I mean, the only now I'm like, I don't know, Tony Robbins, but like I don't want to be inside there either. I just want to like be next to him. Same. Like I want to have a conversation with him.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
teach me your way, sir.
And I think with It Feeds, there's like a lot of scary moments, like just watching it with just the creature and just claustrophobia, like just the scenes that are like, let's say, in a coffin. And so I was wondering for each of you, whether it's watching something like a horror movie or being on the set, is there a difference in terms of like, is this scary? Is there a moment like you're on set, like this is wow, this is just like being in a horror film?
I think there's moments where you can make it very real for yourself. I have never been in a coffin, but I imagine if I was Ellie and had to experience it in the way she did, especially when there's the creature in her, I would get a bit claustrophobic. I think there's also just like human nature that plays into it. But a lot of the things it is like Shawn mentioned before, I think like it's technical. And so you really have to focus on being able to try and make these things real, but then they're like, all right, just like scooch over this way or do this or look past the camera or don't make eye contact with the entity. And so I sometimes I guess wish it was scarier on set.
But not too much scary, right? So that's
Yeah, I mean, we made it look scary. That's what's so beautiful. Like, we finished watching this movie, and I texted Chad Archibald, our director, immediately, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're so talented, and this looks so cool, and it's so amazing to see it on screen because, it's such a different experience on set. Like, you're faking a lot of stuff, and you're shooting day for night, and so to see like the sound design come in and the pacing was beautiful. Like, it was very cool to see."
oh yeah. And I want to ask about whether just the portrayal, right, for each of the characters and how this entity feeds into them. And I think with Sean's character, how he sacrifices certain things where he believes is for the greater good. So since Shawn, you're back, I can ask this. I can repeat the question again.
Yeah, so sorry guys. I don't know what happened. You know, technology. I suck at it. That's it.
Technology, but yeah. So for Randall's character, yeah, Randall's character, he, I believe, like in his mind, he's protecting his daughter and sacrificing something like for the greater good. And I was wondering for each of you whether like in your professional career where you felt like you had to like sacrifice something for the greater good for the project.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know if I've ever had to like make a true sacrifice. I mean, I've sacrificed time, I've sacrificed my body for a stunt, you know what I mean? But I have never had to make like a moral huge sacrifice for a project, you know? Like it's just make believe after all. That's my experience. But yeah, definitely like sacrifice being away from my family to be a part of something that I really believed in or thought was special. But yeah, that's about it. I haven't had to make any moral sacrifices to be a part of anything.
Yeah, I can kind of echo that sentiment. I think we certainly, there's sacrifices in sleep and being away from family, and that part of it is really hard. And you do kind of, I think sometimes, or the type of actor I am, like, because I do want these things to feel real, like you do allow yourself to go to sometimes darker places. And sometimes I think there's a little bit of bounce back from that. But for the most part, no, it's not, you know, I love what I do. I get to consent to what I'm doing on set and the script that I'm working with prior. And so, yeah, as far as like morally now.
I have to, speaking of sacrificing sleep, I have to shout Ashley out because she carries this movie in an incredible way, as you've seen. And she was like, had her young baby with her the whole time. And, you know, so I was amazed. I was like, so you're nursing your baby, you're up at night, you're taking care of your young child, and then coming in and, you know, carrying this whole film. So yeah, that was very impressive. And I knew how challenging it would be. So good on you, Ashley. You crushed it. No, it's true.
I think about it now and I'm like, it was one of the hardest things I've done because it just is such a weird thing to come back. Like your mind is on your baby. And like, I've never experienced that before, right? Because it was always, I was just like, work 100%. So thank you.
I could tell you were like head down. You're like, I'm just doing the work. I'm moving forward. And yeah, you did a great job.
I was so tired.
Yeah.
I guess it fed into the whole idea of the script though. At least I wasn't having to show up to work going like, I'm so arrested and it's a beautiful day. I was like, where is my daughter?
Yeah.
There you go. It fits with just the storyline of just, you know, protection and just doing whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shawn, I'm pretty sure I don't know, the world is probably asking you, like, especially after the casting announcement for Avengers Doomsday and whether you've signed an NDA or not on whether you can talk about it.
So this is the weird part of it. It's like, if I was, I couldn't say that I was, but I'm not. There's been no contact. I'm not cast in it. I mean, I've been getting that since the last Deadpool movie. Everyone's like, "Are you in it?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Okay." But no, I'm actually not. And again, I'm always open to coming back and playing that character. But yeah, so far, no contact.
Oh man. So yeah, someone's gonna make a movement. It's like, got to bring Iceman back. Yeah. And Ashley, I just got an email today about like a Twilight concert, and so I just want to ask you, like, just in terms of just the franchise that just keeps on going, and you know whether you have like a fond memory post theatrical release of the Twilight films.
What is this Twilight concert? Because our soundtracks were incredible. I'll have to look it up. It is, you know, my cast and I are still in contact heavily, and we speak often about how lucky we are to have been a part of this franchise, and that the fans just keep going. And now there's like a resurgence of new fans that watch it with the moms that used to watch the movie when they were teenagers. Like it's just so crazy. And so we have, I mean, a ton of really wonderful memories. I think the first premiere for me was like mind blowing, because you have to understand this. It was like my first real role. And so to see people that were camping out and they're just a ton of screaming fans, it was like this moment of me going like, oh my God, people not only love this film and this character, but they love me too. And it was a very like just impactful, special moment for me. But some of our best memories are from when it did get kind of crazy after the Twilight release. We couldn't really go places. And so we'd usually go to Robert Kristen's place, and we would all just like sit, and they would play music, and we would have drinks and play cards. And it was, I think where a lot of our heavy bonding happened.
Oh yeah. And going back to It Feeds, one of my favorite things is just the world, the sets, especially when you're entering their minds. And it was, if there's like any particular set from there where you're like, this is my favorite.
Oof. I liked we were kind of talking about this earlier too. We got to work on the Reacher set. And it was just like this, it was the hat where you see like me enter into Ellie's mind, and you get to see our old home and all of that stuff. And you like, there's a scene where I think like the newspapers blow by, and I just thought cinematically it was like a really cool, it turned out really cool. And so I think that was probably my favorite.
Yeah, I think that abandoned Main Street, and that house sitting in the field, like abandoned in that field, just feels so kind of, I don't know, David Lynch or something like that. Like it just felt like this weird, eerie sense, even though there's nothing scary inherently happening in those moments, but it just feels like it was removed out of time and out of the world. Just like a strange kind of eerie place, even though there wasn't anything particularly scary happening on that street or even in front of the house. But like, you just know that sense of like foreboding, and the setup is so good that you're like, ooh, something bad's gonna happen. It's kind of cool. Ooh.
Yeah. And I think that's all the time I have, but I just want to say thank you for, doing the interview, and can't wait for when the movie comes out and everyone gets to check it out.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.